Hi, my name is Toby Mankey, and today we are going to be talking about the League of Christian Schools accreditation training. And for the accreditation training today, we are on part two. So, for part two, what we're going to talk about is the self study, and we'll talk about the standards associated with the self study. I also want to present the executive summary. The executive summary is where the school will tell about the demographics of the school and the history of the school. You'll be able to take a chance to really brag on yourself as a school and tell us some great things that you're doing there. The next piece is your school improvement plan. You may refer to it as a strategic plan. And within that strategic plan, we want to hear what you have planned for the future and how you believe you will be getting there. We also want to make sure that you understand how to provide evidence to us. We'll talk about what pieces of evidence or documents will be sufficient when I review the self study. But to provide the evidence to us at this time, we ask that you put these documents in a Google Drive and share that Google Drive with the team 30 days prior to your accreditation visit. So that is what the items are that we're going to be talking about today. Next, we want to jump right into the self study. So, when we are talking about the self study here, what I want you to first of all become familiar with is the accreditation rubric self study. And this self study here, it starts with your dashboard. You'll put the name of the school, and this is what that first page looks like. The next tab, if you look at the bottom, you will see that this tab has the standard 5 example down here. So what you're going to do is you will click on that, and this is standard 5, and this is an example that we are using. So for this example, you will see that there are some gold bars that you'll see here, and that helps you to know that these are the cells that you are going to be completing. The first one is a score. You will give yourself a score, and then when you put in that score, you will see this will populate the cell next to it, and it will give you the summary of that scoring. It will tell you what that scoring means. In the reason for rubric score, you will write why you gave yourself that score. After you write 2 or 3 sentences of how you meet that, then you will write your evidence. And here you will see the word evidence. It says student files, maintenance statements and policy, and policies and procedures. So that is where we would find the evidence or the documentation to back up why you gave yourself that score. And then the next block is the next steps. And this is what your next action would be. So here you gave yourself a 3. So we want to know, what would you do to give yourself a 4? And the same with each of these. Now, when you look at this last one here, it's students with special needs have individual and needed support. And you gave yourself a 4. And when you give yourself a 4, that means that you are really doing a great job with this. But if you look, then you will see there's not a next step. You really do need to have a next step here. And what we would write is to include teachers in the um, evaluation of the students. And so this would be a way that we could take it to maybe a next level, or this is possibly something you've been thinking of doing. And so we do have to have something written in each of these blocks. Here at the bottom, you see your standard summary reflection, and this is where you will write a paragraph summarizing this standard. At the bottom, you will prioritize what your actions are. So this is where you will take those next steps and then you will prioritize them and you will identify them by the indicator over here on the right. So this is the example. These are the things that you'll need to do for each of the standards. The next tab that you see is tips, and this just gives you just some information on how to use this rubric. If you're not familiar with Excel, it does give you some tips on how to use it. It gives you your software requirements, but most importantly, if you're an academy, it tells you which standards you need to complete. So you will complete standards 1 through 7 and the compliance standard. If you are a preschool, you will complete standards 1 through 7, the compliance standard, and then you have to complete the early ed tab and the early ed ratio worksheet tab as well. If you are a kindergarten through preschool, then you will complete all of these standards 1 through 7, compliance, and the early ed tabs. And that is a summary of what you would need to do. So let's go ahead and look at standard 1 for a moment. If you look at standard 1, then here you'll see that standard 1.1.1, this is about the governing body. And again, what you'll do is you will click on that and you will give yourself a score. Let's say you gave yourself a 3. When you hit enter, it will populate the description of what that means. And you'll also see the red up here fill in, and that helps us to know that that's complete. So when you're done, then all of these will be shaded in. You will write in a reason for your rubric score. You will identify evidence of where that would be found, and then you will write your next steps or your action for what that is. Then you at the bottom, you will complete this by writing a paragraph here. You will prioritize your next steps, and then you will write an indicator of what that aligns to. So you will go through each of these standards. When you go through this self-study, you will see that their gold bars are here and these are ready to go. When you get to the compliance standards here, then you will see that this automatically populates to be a no. So what we want to see is we want to see that these are actually all yeses. That's what we want to see. So you will need to identify that the school maintains insurance that's includes liability, sexual misconduct, and transportation coverage if you have that. And then when you click on that, you will write in a yes, and then it will populate yes. If you do not meet a standard, you do need to write in a comment and tell us why you do not meet that standard. A few of the items that you may write a no. This down here is about food services. If you do not serve food to your students, then you will write no, and in your comment, you will write that the school does not provide food to the students. And that's all that you would need to do. The rest, of course, we hope would be yes. Early ed, here we are, and this again, it pertains to preschool. So then you will answer each of these indicators. You will then summarize and fill in the bottom. Then you have your early ed ratio worksheet, and this is where we are making sure that you are complying with ratios. So you will need to write how many staff and then the number of children. the next what happens is you would go to the domain summary. Domain summary here will self-populate. If you look here, you'll see on standard one where we had completed that one area that's shaded in. So when you have completed all of the standards, this will all be completed. At that time, it self-populates. You do not have to write anything here. And then you also will have the standard summary. And this, again, this sheet will self-populate when you are complete. So what I suggest you do is to go ahead and browse through this Excel document and familiarize yourself with the document so that you will be able to use it with confidence, and you'll know exactly what to do there. If you have any questions, then please, we ask that you contact the League of Christian Schools and we'll be able to help you to navigate through it. Again, within each one, then you will have to provide the evidence. Any item that you identify within the standards, if you write evidence for something here, then please know that that is something that you will need to provide to the team to make sure that you can show us that you indeed do have that documentation. So, again, if you have any questions, then we ask that you please contact the League of Christian Schools. We're here to help you and to answer any questions. We're here to support you and be there right next to you as you go through this process. So thank you so much, and I hope you have a blessed day. Thanks.